I feel like a kid at Christmas. I found these vintage art supplies and I'm going to open these boxes and I'm going to compare the pastels that I found with some ones that I found in Paris just a few years ago. So, in this studio art vlog, you're going to see my purchases and you're going to see me using the old and the new and hear my comparison. I found some vintage art supplies and I started to open the other day and realized you might want to see them too. So I have yet to open these out of the plastic bubbles. This one are some Rembrandts. I bought some Rembrandts in 2019 in Paris and I kind of want to compare the difference. But first, do you see that vintage, beautiful art box? This was a gift from my friend Debbie Beard while we were in Paris. We were in a tiny shop outside Monet's garden and she gifted it to me there. And that's where my love for vintage art supplies began. She said there's no way she could leave there without it. All right, I've got it open and super excited about, first off, I can smell the age of these little guys. So 2 little levers, made in Holland, Rembrandt Pastels. Oh, and the owner was courteous enough to color code them and keep them. This is really awesome. It's hard to know how old these are. This rainbow of color is kind of mesmerizing to me. I'm starting to think about what I can create and imagine the possibilities. There's something almost magical. Okay, so these are the ones that I bought in my trip to Paris in 2019. And I don't know if I see a whole lot of difference, but let me know in the comments what I should be looking for. So, looking at some of the colors are still the same, maybe off just a little bit different. I don't know what it is, but even just looking at all the colors lined up in the box makes me feel inspired. Okay, more packages. These are the ones that I have yet to even tear the tape yet. But wait, there's more. I also found these vintage China paint vials of pigment, and I just got them in the mail on the day that I was recording, so we've extended the video a little bit because I now have more. I'm planning on, in an upcoming video, creating an art piece and a shadow box using these vials, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to do it. So there's an old saying that we've all heard. They don't make them like they used to. So I've decided I'm going to get out my watercolor paper and I'm going to use these pastels, the old ones and the new ones that I found in Paris, and I want to compare them for you all. I'm very curious on how the pigments hold up, so I'm going to add a bowl of water and I'm going to treat them like watercolor and just see what the difference is, compare the textures, compare the opacity, and see what you think. I'm using one of my hand-painted leather journals. These are cotton paper and they're perfect for watercolor. So I'm just going to play around with some flowers, see what the color does, and see how it holds up on my paper. So I'm just going to go back and forth and compare each. The greens, the oranges, the yellows, the pinks, the blues, all of them. So my first thought is they both glide across my paper very smoothly, and other than the color being a little bit different, I'm not seeing anything different with the texture. I'm doing some very loose flowers, some thin areas, and then some areas where I've added a lot more of the pastel. So I'm going to get a more concentrated color. So I want to mention here that I'm very calm and I'm having a really good time playing with these new products, the new and the old. When I bought the Rembrandts in Paris, I did not have a plan, but when you go to Paris and you're in an art store, you buy whatever you can fit in your suitcase. So finding these older ones, it was fun to be able to play, compare, and at this point, I'm adding water to the color and I'm not seeing any difference. I think that's a true testament for the quality of these art products. That bold magenta color is from the vintage group of Pastels, and I think that says a lot. I've only recently started working with watercolor, but I have found the calming sense that overwhelms me when I am using watercolor paints. They have inspired me to hand paint on my journals. They've inspired me to create my own line of watercolor paints called Iris Paints. And I think I want more of this in my life for 2023. I think I'm going to spend more time sitting at the table, and working through the pastels and the watercolors and learning different mediums. This was a lovely afternoon in my studio, and I look forward to many, many more. Look how many pages I get to fill with all of these beautiful colors.